All right, what is up, Batch Pod squad of now two, I believe. The Ryan and Jacob show is back for an episode 5 and 6 recap, double episode platter coming at you, and we are not brought to you by Pure Leaf Tea. Yeah. All right, so let's get into this. We got a lot to unpack here. We'll start with last week's episode where we have Blake coming into the house and everybody's shitty because foreign invader in their territory, another dog in to come piss on their hydrant. They're not happy. What did you think about the big reveal of Blake coming in?
Yeah, I mean, I would be happy if I were them. But, I mean, we did that last season too, but I think they brought in like 4 girls, which was a pretty big twist, and now they're only bringing in one guy.
Almost.
Yeah, I wouldn't – I'm sorry?
It's almost worse, though, like just because it's just one guy. It's like, man.
Yeah, I feel like it was probably later. I don't know. It's probably later in the season, too, than the 4 girls. I feel like the 4 girls came like 2 episodes in or something like that.
Definitely.
But – yeah, I mean, I'd be mad. I think Greg on that episode, I know Greg was I think Greg said that he sees Blake as a pretty big threat. And I mean, he's a good-looking guy. He was smooth talking Katie. I think he'll be. I mean, I also watched episode 6 where he killed it too, and he killed the one-on-one in episode 5. So he just had a great last 2 weeks, and I think he is a pretty heavy favorite right now.
Yeah, my boy Greg was getting a little bit jealous and also said that something about him being a jealous person, which he said he wasn't a jealous person a couple episodes. So I'm not sure what page this guy's on, but I don't get it. I'm a little concerned, but we're still Team Greg and we're going to the top. But that did bother me a little bit because he kept talking about how he's like, I'm worried because Blake just seems like her type, you know? Just worry about yourself, dude.
Right. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys want to do flashback or what, but I think I said Greg was pretty jealous. He seemed like the jealous type, like in the second episode after you picked him, or the next episode after that. He does seem like a jealous, and he was kind of being a little bitch. I'm not gonna lie.
Nobody saw that episode, so it's okay. But yeah, so not only does Blake come in the house as the new guy, but he gets the first one-on-one that happens after he gets there. He's the first person that gets one as soon as he gets in the house. And that just made everybody more pissed. Like, Hunter was just raging. He was not happy. But Blake gets his first one-on-one, and like you said, he went out there and he killed it.
Yeah, and I think they went horseback riding, and then he said during it, or like right before he got on the horse, he was afraid of horses. Yep. But again, not to pander on last episode or last season either, but Matt did the same thing with Michelle, and Michelle was final 3, or did she make final 2? 1? She was top 3 somewhere. And yeah, I mean, you kind of make up for lost times. You want to see if you have that real connection, and if you don't, then you can kick him to the curb. But he came to play, and they had just an amazing date.
Man, he sure did. He came out swinging, and he's hitting home runs, no problem. Then they have a great horseback riding date. And then they go into the dinner, have a super deep convo. They're really seeming connected. And then after that, Katie even said, I could see myself walking away with Blake. And I agree. I think he's going to make it pretty far. I mean, the dude's just killing it right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's what she wanted to see with her picking him that early, or when he just walked in. And yeah, there's no doubt that I think Blake, especially once we talk into episode 6, what he did in episode 6, there's no way. I think he's top 4 at least. So
I agree. I think he's going to make it pretty far, probably at hometowns at least. But yeah, so from there we went into the group date of this episode where we have like a rugby basketball game sort of thing, which seemed pretty cool. But the dudes came out in some banana hammocks, which was interesting wardrobe choice by the producers for that. But ladies probably loved it. And this is where our boy Hunter seems like he's getting real aggressive and looks like he's roid raging a little bit. And then our boy Michael A gets absolutely creamed by Justin, and I thought he died.
Dude, his head snapped and then just went right in the ground. It was, yeah, he's not. I don't know if we made the joke, me and Cassidy when watching, or he made the joke, but he was talking he has a dad bod, so he's not as strong as all these guys, and he just got wrecked by one of the strongest. Justin's pretty big, one of the biggest guys at the house, and I felt sorry for him. But I'm glad he's okay. He got a little sympathy kiss, or not kiss, but sympathy when he talked to Katie about it. Just kind of got a sympathy combo, and it was cute. He knows what to do. He knows what to say. He's a cool guy.
Might have milked that injury just a little bit.
I would have.
Attention. But he definitely got body checked from behind, which was pretty nuts. So then they called off that game because nobody's trying to get steamrolled. But so from there we go into the after party of the group date where everybody's just kind of having combos. Wasn't really anything out of that we got. Hunter was kind of being a dude because he had already gotten a rose and set up this long ass date to take away time from other people.
And the thing with Hunter, when they had the after group date or that, not the cocktail hour, but when he got the group date rose,
right?
And he was showing his kids, and he was kind of opening up, and you kind of I kind of felt oh, maybe this guy's actually pretty cool. He was showing a softer side of here's my I think he has 3 kids, and Katie even pointed out oh, you look so happy, you just look like a different person with the kids and stuff like that. And so I was at that moment I was maybe Hunter's not so bad. But then when they go to the rose ceremony cocktail party, this guy's already got a rose, and he takes time away from everybody else, and I thought that was a dick move.
Yeah, huge dick move. People were not pleased with that.
Right.
But so after all that, we have Andrew S's one-on-one date, your boy, and he absolutely killed it. He, probably couldn't have gone any better than it did for him.
Killed it.
Opening these envelopes and asking each other random questions, and man, it seemed like the fireworks were really going for them.
Dude, it was a great group idea date, perfect for him. They have so much in common, from past history with family and just things that they kind of struggled with growing up, and they opened that can of worms. And then at the group dinner date, he was talking about his girlfriend. I don't think he was ever engaged. Ex-girlfriend, about interracial couples and interracial babies. So they got into a deep conversation about that. And Katie was cool, and he was cool, and dude, they were vibing hardcore. And then I think the second part of the date, not the dinner portion, I think they were opening balloons or something, and then they started throwing, and he literally decked Katie with one of those balloons. But she took it like a champ. But perfect date. I want to hear your thoughts on the date because you hate Andrew S. for some reason.
I don't hate Andrew S. I'm rooting against just you being right. But, I like Andrew S. He seems like a very cool dude. And I think I think he knocked that date straight out of the park. He walked in there and killed it. I think
he owned it.
He was super nervous before he went, and just slayed it.
He did.
Yeah. So that definitely gets your boy Greg or Andrew, but my boy Greg off for this episode for sure. But
definitely.
So then we get into the pre-rose ceremony cocktail party, and like you said, this is where Hunter starts taking time away from the dudes, and box guy James has had enough, gets in there and gets himself some time. Then Hunter's pissed, and this kind of starts the
rift,
the group against Hunter society, where there's 4 guys that are just not having Hunter's antics anymore, or what they think are him. And yeah, we'll be getting into that in the next episode. But
yeah, and the box guy James, I agree with what he did. I always find it awkward when guys or girls say, "Oh, can I have some time? Can I squeeze in and do that?" But he had every right with Hunter already having a rose, and I think honestly that might have saved him that episode. I think he was on the chopping block, and the fact that he did that, I think Katie maybe saw something, some light, going off, some ignition, and I mean, I think that saved him that episode.
Yeah, I also respected the move. I mean, other guy already had a rose. You gotta get in there and do what you gotta do to stay in.
Yep.
So we get into the rose ceremony, and Courtney goes home, and I'm gonna say John. I want to say John was one of the other guys, and then the third guy that went home, I don't even have a guess. I have absolutely no idea what his name was.
I can't even I can picture maybe one of the guys. I have no idea who the names are. I forgot.
I'm not sure, but yeah. So we'll just I'll throw a picture of him up in the cast. So let's get into episode 6. So this one starts off pretty interesting. This is where Katie introduces this rule that no wank rule.
Oh yeah.
And asks the guys if they can refrain from choking the chicken for as long as possible, which is like never been done before that I've ever seen. What do you think about that?
I mean, she wants a big load in fantasy suites, I guess. But yeah, I don't know how hard that would be. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to picture myself with like rooming with like 10 dudes. I would find it hard to like find time doing that. But then Caitlin said like, "Oh, who takes the longest showers?" And I was like, that's probably the time to do it, when you're in the shower alone. And they all pointed to Blake, which was really funny because he just got there. And
don't they share like some of the same showers?
Right. Well, they share I mean, I'm sure they share rooms. So like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, showers, you just kind of scrub the bottom and be like,
I would not want people painting the walls of my shower with their fucking semen.
Well, you aim towards the drain, you don't freaking go up.
Oh, so you're a seasoned vet, huh?
I'm just saying. You're not painting the freaking walls.
Man, I don't even care. Like, aiming at the drain, you're going to get some splashes going up on the walls. Like, not in my shower. No. You better find another place to do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm thinking, like, that had to be the best place. Like, where else? Like, you just go by yourself for a little bit and just
out to the woods.
It's hard.
I don't know. I mean, but it's crazy because, like you said, I wouldn't think that you'd be doing that much, like in a situation like this. But they were acting like this was going to be real tough. Everyone was like, "Oh man," freaking out. Like, God damn, how much are you guys wanking in this house? These showers gotta be faked.
Yeah, they were. Ah, man, like I said, I don't know when they find the time, but they weren't happy. It made it funny, like the 10 minutes they talked about it. It was pretty funny though. Like it had a comedy aspect to it. I think that was probably like staged a little bit, but it was funny.
Yeah, pretty interesting start to the episode. But then so from there we get into a surprising one-on-one. Justin gets the first one-on-one of this episode, which to me was kind of surprising because, I mean, he's gotten some good time, I think, but he definitely wasn't like a front runner in my head coming into this episode. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I read some articles after, we do our podcast or after I watch, and like he's kind of like pointed like the meme guy. Like he has the funniest facial reactions. And they're pretty funny when you actually see him. But yeah, he was a cool guy. Like he's a cool guy. The date went well. I think I was surprised about the date, but I think he made the most of it. And that was kind of I don't know if it was a cool idea or not. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to picture if I was Justin, would I have wanted that date?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of, I don't want to say it was a weird date, but like.
It was kind of, it was a lot. It was a lot, I feel like.
Right.
Like, so basically they had to dress up in, marriage stuff, and they had to pretend wedding, and they actually had to write vows.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, that seems like a lot for like probably what's their maybe second or third date. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I think he did handle it the best that he could in that situation. And I think it went over well. I think they ended up having a great date, and it resonated well with her. And then they had a pretty great conversation at dinner again. Conversation got deep.
Yeah.
And then they had a little concert, and Justin killed it.
Yeah, I think you knew that the date went well when she started really opening up about like her stepdad. Now that we know, like, I didn't know that her actual dad, or that person we knew wasn't her actual dad. So like something new came up, and a new conversation, and on a deeper level. And she wouldn't have done that with anybody if she thought like it was not a good date. So like, Justin definitely killed it, and he's kind of a sleeper right now to go far.
Yeah, like I said, coming into this episode, I would not have pegged him as a front runner, but after that day, I think he's definitely at least top 5, if not higher than that. So after that, we had the group date, which was an interesting situation. So they had the RuPaul drag All-Stars there, and set up like a debate / roast / whatever with all the guys. And in my opinion, it went over like real bad. Like, I just think they sucked at that. I think whatever the plan was for that date just did not come to fruition, because I don't know, they were all over the place. Greg wrote a poem. Other people were just saying some random stuff. And then
so let me tell you what it was supposed to be. So RuPaul, so me and Cassidy watch RuPaul Drag Race. Like, I think I've seen every season except kind of the newer ones. And then they have an All-Stars for people who don't win the regular seasons. And they do pretty much All-Stars, and they do the same kind of stuff for that. And there's a portion in the show where it's called, or at least in one episode, maybe 2 episodes, that they do this, because it's kind of like a competition who can be the best at this, being a drag queen. And I think 1 or 2 episodes in the season, they have what's called the library. So, and it's basically you get on these reading glasses, and you're supposed to roast literally every single person who's standing in front of you. So kind of Shea Coulee and the other, I don't remember who the other one queen was, but they started roasting all the guys. So that's kind of what they were supposed to do. Like, they started roasting Hunter at first, and then they started roasting Aaron, and you were supposed to roast everybody. It's called being in the library. You put on glasses. And so they kind of wanted to do that with a debate. And like you said, it fell flat. Nobody was roasting anyone. Like you said, Greg did a poem. That was so funny.
It was terrible. It was so terrible.
But that's basically what they were supposed to do. And you can even tell, like, the 2 drag queens were like, we need it. Like, this is boring. Like, we need to heat this up. Like, and then they started like roasting Hunter a lot more.
I don't know if I would even call that roasting. I feel like they were calling Hunter out for bullshit. Like,
yeah, they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. It was very poorly executed. But it's funny if you actually watch the drag queen race. Like, it's funny when they actually do it, because like these drag queens are supposed to be like really witty, and they come up with some really funny stuff. And I had so much high expectations for that, because I've just seen how it's done very well, and it just was awful.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like if it was executed properly, it probably would have been pretty funny. But yeah, these guys were just not cut out for that type of date. Like, that was just pretty bad. And then we go into the post-date cocktail hour, and Katie, for the second time this season, tells Greg she's falling for him. So, Team Greg, back to the top. Here we go, to the moon.
But before you say anything else, this is also the second time she said something about Greg being like not 100% there, like hard, like not hard to read, because that's what Greg said about Katie. But Katie said something to Greg that's like, oh, you just don't seem like yourself. I think that's the second time she said that as well. So
here's what it is. He's
got to look into that stuff.
he doesn't do so well in the group date environment. That is what she said to him. And it's a little bit true. He doesn't seem to thrive in that. But when they're together, just that, oh man, it's fireworks, bro.
That relationship just seems like it's destined to fail. So I would just like get out of it. Because like he's so like, just like he's not good with other people, but only good with you. And it's like, oh, you want a well-rounded person like Andrew. I think you just kind of go with Andrew because he's thriving in every situation you throw him in. So it's easy.
Andrew might be the next Bachelor, so he can't win this one.
I'd watch that, but that would be a good season.
We obviously would.
That'd be a good season though, because that's my favorite guy. So like my favorite guy being the Bachelor.
Listen, Greg said that he's getting better with the groups. So all I see from here is trending up. That's what we're doing. Team Greg, here we go to the top.
2 weeks to hometown, so you better hurry up.
Hometowns, stamp it on your calendar. So after that is when Mr. Trey is gonna go be the guy that spills the beans on Hunter first again. And after Trey does it, then Aaron does it, then James does it. I think Brendan might have done it. But then everyone starts going in and just talking to Katie about how they think Hunter's on some bullshit. And so Katie doesn't like to hear that. And she gets sick and she's thrown up and she calls off the whole thing, says nobody's getting a rose tonight. I'll see you tomorrow at the cocktail party. And
I don't think Brendan said anything. I think he was saying stuff in the group. I don't think he ever said anything to Katie.
Maybe not.
But I think, was it Trey that went first? I thought it was box guy James who said something first, but I could be wrong.
Nah, you could be right. I don't know. I just know this is the second time Trey's done this.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he did say something to her about him. It was him, Aaron, and James, and Brendan might not have said something to him, but I knew at least 3 of them did. And that kind of just ruined the whole night for everybody. And Katie obviously didn't like hearing that, so no rose.
Right.
What are you gonna do?
And then she actually threw up too.
She threw up, yeah. She's throwing up all over the place. Yeah, all over the bathroom. Gross. Really gross.
That was crazy. Like, cause like, I don't know if it was like nervousness or like.
She also like really liked Hunter. Like, wow, I didn't even know.
Yeah, which like I didn't understand either because like Hunter's kind of a douche, and I'm just like thinking like she's doing this off for like Hunter, and it was weird. Like I didn't get that.
Yeah, that was an interesting reaction, and we're going to talk about another interesting reaction here pretty soon. But so next we get into the next day we get into the one-on-one, and she picks Connor, cat guy. And we find out after she chooses him, she has like her little sidebar interview that she's kind of questioning the passion side of her and Connor's relationship. Like she feels like they're in the friend zone, and essentially leading to the fact that he's a bad kisser, right? I mean, that's kind of where that conversation went. And so she says that she picks him for this one-on-one to see if they can discover that passionate side. And I thought this was a great date idea. What do you think about that she pulled him into the double date with Caitlin and her dude?
Yeah, I mean, I love the date. Like I would have loved to be on this date, but I wouldn't have loved to be on this date if my thing that I needed to prove was passion, because you really can't prove passion when you got another couple by you. Like all the other dates, like with Justin and Andrew S. and even Greg, like showed passion because you were by yourself and you could do so much stuff. With them, like they were playing volleyball, which again, I love the date. Like I would have loved to be on this date because you get to talk to 2 other people, you get to vibe with them, you get to vibe with your girl, see how she's vibing, you're vibing. Oh, I love it. Everyone's vibing. Like, oh my God, it was like that would be my perfect date if I was on The Bachelorette. But I think not a perfect date for Connor, because I think that was kind of the downfall, because then they were so excited for this kiss at the end. Caitlin and her guy was like sneaking like, oh, they need a kiss. And like, it was just like, how are you supposed to have a passionate kiss when you got a couple?
I don't know that they knew what they were being watched. I mean, they might have assumed, but
you still know they're there.
But I mean, also Connor doesn't know that this passion thing is basically what's standing between him and getting sent home. So he might have been feeling, he should have been still feeling loosey goosey, ready to rock. But I think he just falls flat in that department, and sometimes that happens. So they had the kiss, and before they even get to like the after dinner part, Katie goes straight to his room, and she's basically just like, "Nah, dog,
you suck at kissing." But like, dude, they did him so dirty though, because like he had a sidebar when he was getting ready about saying like, I think me and Katie are in a good place. I think he might even said like, we have so much passion and like I can't wait to get on even a deeper level. And then they switched to Katie in a hoodie just crying like in her hand or in her hoodie, and you're like, they did this guy so dirty. That was so stupid.
Getting all prepped and ready, popping the collar. He's like, man, I just had a great date. I think it went super well. And then, as soon as you open that door, you got to know, right? As soon as he opens that door, sees her in those type of clothes, he's like, oh.
And I think he even said that. Maybe when they got to the couch, she was like, oh, this is so hard. And he was like, yeah, I know what you're going to do. Just, it's fine. It's fine. Like, he was cool. Like he realized it and he was cool about it. And I think they had a good conversation, like, about it. I mean, Katie wasn't feeling him. You can't really do much. Like, he did literally everything he could do, I think, as being on The Bachelorette. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. I think he was just being himself, and Katie wasn't like feeling that type of guy for her, which, I mean, at least Katie knows what she wants, which is a good thing as well.
Yeah. And if I was in that position, I'd be like, dude, hell yeah. If I'm not the guy, then you have to send me home. Like, you gotta find what you're here to find, right? But I think he handled that well. And then the interesting reaction comes when Connor actually goes back to the house to say bye to the other dudes, and then everybody starts bawling. Like, this guy's like, there's maybe 3-4 weeks left on the show. You could literally hang out with this guy in a month, but everyone just starts crying that he's leaving. Like, it's almost like they wanted him to win. I don't understand. I did not understand that. What did you think about the tear fest?
Yeah, I told Cassie, I was like, this is kind of weird that everyone's crying, because like I'd be like more kind of happy, like, in a sense, but you had like Trey really crying, you had Greg really crying, and like I think there's another guy or two that was really, crying. And I was like, the people they're not showing crying, like maybe Andrew and like, Michael A, like they're probably thinking like, yeah, like, I mean, you're a cool guy, don't get me wrong, but like, one less guy for me, let's go. Like, we need to knock out like 7 other guys,
Right. Like, I guess maybe they realize the magnitude of what they're doing. I really don't know. I just can't figure out why it impacted them so hard that he's leaving. Because if it was a bro thing, like I said, they could just hang out with him in like a month. The show will be over.
I don't know if you've seen the memes, but like, I think you have stuff muted on Twitter, but there's a picture going around where Greg and Connor are like cuddling on the couch, and it's like, oh, there was a bromance there, and like they were really good friends. So that's maybe why Greg was kind of crying, because he was pretty good. Like, he formed a relationship with him, but like you said, in like 3 or 4 weeks, like he could just say, hey, you want to meet in Cali? Let's hang out.
Should we be crying when we say goodbye? Like, when we hang out, should we be crying when we have to say goodbye? Because I don't see you like for a month. I'm thinking maybe we're doing this a little bit wrong.
We are doing it incredibly wrong. We should start doing that. But then we go to, which is another cool aspect, because like you hear somebody with a radio, right?
Yep.
Right after this. And I told Cassidy right before we saw the face of the guy, I told Cassidy, whoever this is going to make it, like, he's going to go far, like top 4, top 3. I think he might even be final 2. Like I said, like, he might be going all the way, because this is such a cool thing to do. Like, oh, all these guys are crying. Katie's crying. Like, make your move. And lo and behold, it was Blake. And I've always preached in these shows that, like, you just got to, like, find your time, like find one-on-one time and like be there for the person if they're like crying or like if Katie goes off and you're like, because I think Andrew did this one time, like a couple episodes, like she had a bad group date, she went by herself, and I think Andrew followed her. I mean, that's the move to do, because when they're sad, when they're, like I said, when they're sad, like that's where you stand out. And I think just solely based on that, I think Blake and Andrew are going to be final two. Of course, Andrew's going to win, but that's what I said to Cassie right before. What did you think about that?
No, I thought it was a great move. It was a classic move. Every rom-com ever made has the dude with the radio up playing the love song to the girl. And I mean, just a classic, timeless move by Blake there. Yep. I 100% respect it. And like, again, back from the last episode to now, Blake is just hitting dingers. I mean, he is knocking them out of the park, and he doesn't miss a pitch. I mean, the guy has taken every opportunity that he's gotten, and he has sent it straight to Success Town. I mean, you just can't say anything better. He's playing all his cards right. And
you got to think, like, he knows what he's doing, though, because he's been on Tayshia's and Claire's, but that really wasn't even a season. So he's been on Tayshia. I think we talked about this. I think I looked it up. I think he got 7th or 8th in Tayshia's season. But, like, at least, like, he still knows, like, kind of the role of everything. And he's using it full advantage. I didn't watch Tayshia, so I don't know really how he did. But, like, I think he's using that experience to full advantage. And, yeah, he's killing it. And I like Blake. Like, I don't think I dislike him when I first met him. I think I told you guys last episode, like, what he did with Claire's, that one episode I watched. I thought he was a cool guy. So I think he's a cool guy. I think he's a pretty good fit for Katie, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they seem to hit it off every time they're together.
Yeah.
So then after that romantic scene, we pretty much go straight into the rose ceremony. I don't know if she canceled the cocktail hour or if they just didn't.
She did.
They did, yeah. And
so what happened was she came in and said, time isn't going to help the people I'm going to, like, vote off. So we're going to skip the cocktail hour. And then she goes to the rose ceremony and says, Hunter, I need to talk to you, which a lot of guys are kind of pissed. Like, oh, why didn't we have the cocktail hour? We could have, like, talked about this stuff and, like, cleared stuff up. And then they had the rose ceremony. So, yeah, she put her foot down. She was like, no time could save you guys. Let's go. Like, let's get you guys out of here.
Savage play right there. And I loved it.
Yes.
Yeah, she took Hunter out, and she's basically like, give me your defense and your roses on the line. And lo and behold, he comes up short. No pun intended. So Hunter gets the boot, and then the 3 guys that talked about Hunter, Aaron, James, and Trey, also get the boot. She just said, I ain't dealing with any of that. We're just going to get them all out, and we're going to move forward. So pretty great last couple episodes, and I think the guys that are left right now, it's gonna be some tough pickings from here on out.
Dude, I honestly think Katie, out of all the episodes and, like, seasons I've watched, I haven't watched many, but she is definitely one of my favorites, and I think has handled this the best that I can remember. Like I said, I haven't seen all of them, but, like, she's, like, kind of killing it.
Yeah, no, I agree. She's been great. We definitely haven't had, like, as much drama in the house.
Right.
Because as soon as she gets a whiff of that, she just sends that shit out the door. But I agree. I think she's been one of the better bachelorettes in at least, like, handling situations and just kind of rolling with the punches. But I did see some pretty intense flash forwards at the end of this last episode. So it's gonna be an interesting finish to the season, but I'm excited to see where it goes and to see Greg come out on top, of course.
No, that's false. But, like, yeah, I'm so excited. Like, during match season, like, I kind of got bored towards the end, but, like, with, like, this one, like, I'm juiced. Like, I want it to be, like, Tuesday already, and watch, like, this episode. Like, I'm just really excited for the ending, because usually the ending's kind of boring to me and kind of like, oh, like, I know what's going to happen. But, like, this one kind of seems it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited. You're excited. Our 2 fans are excited, I'm sure.
They're pumped.
But yeah, dude, I can't wait to see where this is gonna go because I think it's gonna be a good finish. We got a lot of good
Yep.
candidates here. But yeah, that does it for the last 2 weeks episode. We tried to cram it in as quick as possible. But that's this week's. And you got any closing remarks?
I don't want to give away too much of the preview, so I don't really have too much, but it's going to get juicy. It's going to get juicy.
Gonna get juicy, and Team Greg's going to the top. And that'll do it for us this week. We will catch you next time.
Peace.